folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And tonight we got a great show for you with my co-host David Null, Hawkeye Two Feathers, back again with show 190. Thank you for being here.
A good evening, good morning, good afternoon, to all you favorite folks out there. I am your humble host with Milky Way Robert tonight, and we are doing stories and storytelling. And our story for tonight is oh, come on, I can't remember. Hey, what is it? The Mouse in the Sun. There you go. That's the story for tonight. And so I also want to say thank you, and to all you all out there, blessings, and remember to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. So let's get with it, Robert.
Let's get absolutely with it. We got good things going on. We have a surprise for you tonight, so that's good.
Really?
Nina's got greetings, and Chloe says, "What's up with the hat?"
Mine?
Apparently,
that's to cover my crazy hair. It's still in a ponytail from last week, but it's coming apart, and I'm still hung over from the hospital. So, you know.
Yeah. Bear with him. He's hung over from the hospital. That's all right, because we're going to continue on with our story tonight. We got a great mountaineer who was French Canadian. So there you go, right up you French Canadians alley. Good. And I'm gonna tell my monologue and stuff. And when people start pouring in here, we have a surprise for you tonight. Believe it or not. Chloe says you look like a youngster.
Well, I don't look so old this way, do I?
Oh boy. Anyway, tonight we're going to be talking, as soon as I get this booted up. You know, when you switch screens, it never boots up right. Oh, come on. Okay.
You better boot up. Come on there.
My cursor is okay. Tonight we're going to talk about Etienne Provost. You may have heard of his name if you went through Utah. He's got some rivers named after him and things like that. But tonight we ride into the high desert of Utah, where the mountains watch like ancient sentinels, and the river still whispers with stories of the fur trade. Our subject isn't a household name. He isn't on the cover of dime novels, but he was there, facing danger, crossing rivers, and leaving his mark on the map. His name was Etienne Provost, a French-Canadian trapper, explorer, and frontiersman, whose courage carved trails into the unknown, from violent clashes with the Shoshone to peaceful trades with the Ute, from the beaver ponds of the Great Salt Lake to the streets of St. Louis. His story is one of survival, grit, and legacy. And tonight we will tell the untold story of a man of whom the city of Pro-VOH, Utah is named. Can you believe that? He has his own city.
Pro-VOH.
So, yep. Pro-VOH,
not
Utah.
Provost?
No, not Provost. His name is Provost, but Pro-VOH
right.
was the city he's named after. And there we got more people pulling in. Elderberry's in the house. Hey, he says, "What's up, everybody?"
What's up?
I'm glad you're all pouring in here. And in a minute, we're going to reveal the big surprise.
Ooh, can I go get coffee?
Yeah, go get your coffee. When you get back with your coffee, yeah, then that's the thing. So anyway, a little bit about this guy. He, we're gonna start at the beginning here. And who was this guy? We've probably never heard of, which most people haven't. We haven't heard of this guy. Our story begins in 1785 in a small town in Quebec, and hence the French Canadian. So anyway, now that I got that all screwed, I got some pictures to show you guys. So with that, I gotta pull up the picture share screen. Oh, as soon as I can figure this out. But anyway, I got, of course, this guy had a book written about him too. So if you find his story interesting, I would suggest going out and getting the book, because heck, the more you can learn about these people, you can get this book probably on Amazon, I would imagine. I've gotten plenty of books, because you can see I get books all the time. I got one on Bill Sublet, all these guys. I got more books than I can shake a stick at. But anyway, if you ever see this book, Etienne Provost, The Man of the Mountains by Jack B. Tikale. I guess that is Tikale. Anyway, I did not read this book. I don't have it yet. I probably will. Richard Red's here. Good evening, Robert, Hawkeye, and chat and people. There you go. You're right on time. You hear a few more minutes when Hawkeye gets back from his getting some coffee.
I'm back.
We have a big surprise for you.
Anyway, I'm back. I got coffee.
Whew, you got coffee? Okay, good deal. All right, I'm bringing it back. Okay, I know Nina's waiting for this too, because she's important, and she did this at my request. And are you ready for the big reveal?
Okie dokie.
I hope you can see the screen. And there you go. You got your shirt. You got a shirt.
What's it?
It says Milky Way Soul Tribe, Native American Myths and Legends with Robert and David, Hawkeye Two Feathers, greatest storyteller on YouTube.
Well, God bless you.
What do you think of that?
Huh?
The greatest storyteller on YouTube.
Now I have a legacy.
Yes, you do. Go figure, right? And if you can order your shirt, you got hoodies and the whole bit. So we're going to switch to that for a second here and go over doing a lot of showing here. But if you go over to Nina's merch channel, which is right here, you can scroll down and you can find all the wares. There's booklets that say Robert and David, Native American Myths and Legends, Hawkeye Two Feathers. And there's also mugs. There's long sleeve shirts, hoodies, t-shirts. There's also the Beyond Truth, Milky Way Soul Tribe. Get yours, a mug, booklets, whatever. You can go, and the new collection is the R. Wayne Steiger collection. And there's the Dream Book, Dream Journal, Ignorance Is, Bosto, hardcover bound, or you can get the mug, Self-Inflicted Diseases Easily Cured by Knowledge. Or you can get that on a shirt, hoodie, or a t-shirt. One or the other. She's got Be Kind to Your Mind. All of these are Wayne Steiger sayings. So go there, check this out. Like, here's Wayne Steiger shirt, I got that. Or the famous Anakarana symbols, or We Do Not Consent shirts. So with that, everybody go over there. She's got a big selection, but get one of the new ones. Support David. It was his birthday. He's got his own shirt now with his name on it. The greatest storyteller on YouTube. So get yours today or soon, or buy one and send it to David. Okay, you're going to get a bunch of packages with shirts. Tell them what size you are.
I'll be covered for winter then, won't I? I need a large, everybody.
A large?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mediums just don't work.
So there you go. You want, you go and get yourself get Hawkeye a shirt, get him a large, and send it over to him for his birthday. It was just the other day. Sorry you had to spend it in the hospital. We were going to celebrate it here on YouTube, with our show again. But hey, different games for different times, right?
Yeah. Last Wednesday I was having I can't remember what it's called, but where they pumped me full of a couple of dyes so I could glow in the dark, and they took pictures of my chest, my lungs, and my pulmonary system. And so a week ago, I was like, glowing in the dark about this time. No, it was Wednesday night. Yeah. But anyway, so for just a quick update, I still got my stuff on to keep me from. This is the arm that they went in for the heart cath and the stent. And so I'm still wearing it, even though the doctor said, it's okay, because I don't want. It's a reminder to be careful, and I'm at a fall risk. So, and that's very true. But I'm a little lopsided today, thus the hat. But my blood pressure is 109/60, and it was 220. I can't believe it.
Wow.
Over 118 a week ago. So the fact that my blood pressure is down, that I'm breathing, my chest don't hurt, they put the stent in, I'm good for another round.
Good deal.
So tell me more about Provost.
Yeah, well, okay. But anyway, yeah, size. Nina says sizes go up to 5X large, so you're safe. So that's good. Okay, getting back to the show. Let's see, and I got pictures too, so we are gonna go.
Was this guy around when pictures could be took?
Not really. No, not in the 1700s. Let's see.
Oh, he was that far back. Okay.
Yeah, he was born in 1795 here. And as soon as I can get this thing off my screen and do screen share, we will share the screen. And here we go. Anyway, like I said, there was a book written about him. And this is probably the best rendering we're going to get of what he looked like. Remember, he was French-Canadian. That kind of reminds me of a Frenchman and fur trapper and Native American. This is probably some way he dressed with the big long rifle, a knife at his side, buckskins on, something on his head to keep him warm, and who knows. That's a blurry picture. Anyway, he ranged in this area where the Louisiana Purchase would have been, because again, he would have came out of the lakes up here, made his way across through Lake Superior, and gotten over to this area here, where he would have entangled with the natives, the Shoshone and more in the plains area or into the mountains. So the Upper Peninsula up here. So we're going to go with that. There really isn't a whole lot of picturing we can do with him because, hey, he lived so many years ago. Best I can say is it would be this picture here, and we'll have to go with that. What do you think?
Okie doke.
So, with that, he was born. Our story begins in 1785, so way back, in a small farming town in Chambly, Quebec, just south of Montreal. Here, in a land of fields and rivers, was born a man who would one day be called the soul of the hunters of the mountains. His name was Etienne Provost. We know little of his early years, but by 1814, it took a little trip down Mississippi.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
anyway,
Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi.
there you go. Or maybe it was,
Took a
yeah.
little bacon and we took the little beans. Okay.
He had left the quiet farming life far behind and was working in the frontier, venturing into the Arkansas River County, our country, I should say. The lure of beaver pelts, trade goods, and the adventure pulled him south and west toward a destiny that would entwine him with some of the greatest names in the fur trade. In 1815, he joined the Jacques de Mon Brigade, heading for Spanish-controlled New Mexico. But their mission ended in disaster. Arrested in Santa Fe, their goods seized, Provost spent 48 days in jail before being sent back to St. Louis. Yet this failure did not stop him. It hardened him. Okay, you're probably wondering, why did he get arrested? Well, back in the
Yeah,
day,
I was going to ask that question right away.
well, the Spanish territory, which would have been New Mexico, was had laws about trapping. You had to buy a license. And remember, this was getting close to the time of the Mexican-American War, and they had rules. Even back then, they had rules where, hey, you need to buy a license. You can only sell it to these, restrictions. And then when they got, you're a trapper and you get caught and you got a bunch of furs and they say, hey, where's your license? Where's your stuff? Blah, blah, blah. We're going to seize your goods, put you in jail, and don't come back. Remember we talked about a few of the other guys, how they became, maybe it was last week or the week before, where the guy became a Mexican citizen.
Yeah, that's right.
He married him,
had his own, yeah.
And then he got to trap and he got to do all that stuff because he was a Mexican citizen, so I guess it's country first. Hey, our citizens come first. It's something we need to learn here in America is we come first. We, instead of hey, that foreigner came over here, we need to help them out, even though the Americans are sitting on the streets. They're
right.
starving to death, but that poor guy just crossed the border illegally. Get him over here and give him some food and some medicine and Social Security stuff and Medicare and all that. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Give him a house, too. Why not? Kick that guy over there right out.
$1,000.
Yeah, give $1,000. Anyway, let's get on with the show here. He went down to Taos by 1821 with Mexico's independence. See, freshly won. Remember, Mexico was part of Spain, and then they fought their own revolution to become just Mexico instead of Spanish Mexico. So now they're independent. Provost was living in Taos, New Mexico. Taos was a trapper's haven. Remember, Kit Carson was there, and all the other ones. That was like the big hoodoo right there. It was a place where French Canadians, Americans, Mexicans mingled before striking out into the wilds. One of these days, I'm going to have to do a show just on Taos, New Mexico. Well, Provost partnered with Franciscus Leclerc, I guess I should say, Francisco Leclerc, setting his sights on the Ute Basin, the Green River, and the Utah Valley. These were lands scarcely touched by European feet, lands rich with beaver and guarded by powerful nations. It was here that Provost's story takes its most dramatic turn. The Jordan River Massacre, 1824. In October of 1824, Provost and his men set camp between Utah Lake and the Great Salt Lake, along what we now call the Jordan River. The beaver were plentiful. Spirits were high, but unseen eyes were watching. A band of Shoshone Indians, led by a man remembered as Bad Gotcha. I'd love to have that name, huh? Bad Gotcha. Approached under a flag of peace. They invited Provost and his men to smoke the camelet, which is the sacred pipe. Peace pipe, but they insisted that no metal objects could be present, as it offended their medicine. I can see trouble brewing already. Trusting this ritual, Provost laid down his rifle. His men followed, forming a circle ready to share tobacco and peace. Then came the signal. Knives flashed from beneath the robes. The Shoshone fell upon the trappers. 8 men were slaughtered in moments, caught defenseless in what was supposed to be a ceremony of trust. But Provost survived. With a handful of others, he escaped through the marshes, retreating into the mountains. They wintered at the mouth of the White River, scared, hungry, but alive. Many later credit Jim Bridger with discovering the Great Salt Lake in 1825, but it's hard to believe that Provost camped in the valley a year earlier and did not already know of it. Yeah, I camped next to it. I was right there. I had to walk over that and say hello to No, Jim Bridger.
And this is where I had a campfire right here, you see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't that something? Yeah, we were just there. All of a sudden, hey, I was over there last week, and the winter right just down the road. I walked over that. It was all froze over, so I guess it wasn't. But you know how credit goes to different people. They'll strike your flag down there, and then if you didn't put the flag in, well, the next guy will. So, in May of 1825, Provost's brigade met Peter Seacon Ogden of the Hudson Bay Company in Weber Canyon, and nearby Johnson Gardner of the Ashley Henry American Trappers. What followed was a clash not of guns, but of commerce. Gardner lured Ogden's men away with promises of better prices, and 24 defected, bringing with them 700 beaver pelts. Amid this chaos, Provost's group stood steady, and the only party with legal rights to trap in the Mexican territory, and thanks to licenses from Taos. Remember, I told you they had to have licenses. And the reason here, I did a little digging on this, and the better prices, they were giving them, this is going to sound funny, but they were giving them, this was what lured them away, $3.50 a pound for beaver pelt. And that was more than what they were getting from the other guy. And then they told him that they would sell them goods like, things they needed, traps and guns and powder and all of that, cheaper than they were getting them from the other guy. And with that, these people said, I'm going to make more money, and I'm going to have to spend less, and I'm going to get all this stuff. And sure enough, they said, I'm jumping ship. And away they went. A month later, Provost guided William Ashley to Henry's Fork at Green River, where the first mountain man rendezvous was. And he held the single event, this first single event, and which changed the fur industry forever, creating the annual summer gathering where trappers, traders, and tribes came together. And we still, to this day, have rendezvous, maybe one in your own area.
So, and sometimes they're called powwows.
Powwows, rendezvous, whatever. Yeah, because, that was a thing. It went on for about 20 years. That's where all the trappers would, meet up in a certain area, changed randomly, and they would set up their tents and teepees, and the wagon train or mule train would come in and bring all the supplies. They would trade their furs, and they didn't have to go back to town to get them. They partied it up, had a good time, and went back to work. And that's just where the fur companies wanted them. Yes, go ahead.
Did you say they had 700 beaver pelts back a little bit ago?
Yeah. Yes.
700?
Yes. They defected, bringing with them 700 beaver pelts.
Ooh, let's just stop there for a second. I got a couple of beaver on the river down here, and there's down the road, there's a beaver pond, been there forever. So, but 700 beaver pelts.
Yeah.
Now, I would be amazed if they didn't hurt the population of wherever they got them.
Yes. Well,
So
they did. They trapped the beaver almost extinct.
that's what
You
I
know.
was fixing to say. So with those 700 beaver pelts, that was just in 1 year trapping.
Yeah. Oh, that was yeah. That
So,
was just a one. That was one
multiply
group.
that times
But-
several trappers, and they were taking thousands of beavers annually.
And that's not
So
including
I
the
just was trying to bring that out in that the quantity, 700 pelts. Yeah, okay. No, but that means 700 beavers. That means habitat. That means, and who else was hunting them? And how many
oh yeah,
pelts did they have?
the
So, but my
native.
point is that it's
Yeah.
no wonder that the beaver was decimated.
Well, you're right. You're right. And it's. Can you imagine how many beaver there were? There must have been millions of them because they
Yeah, but
trapped.
still, to take 700,
Yeah.
that's a feat in and of itself. They have to trap them. So
Yeah.
they've got to set traps. They got to go around and check them. They got to go, kill them, skin them, etc. So,
Yeah.
but that's a bunch
Yeah.
for
Richard says,
one set of trappers, especially.
yeah. Can you farm beavers? I don't think so. I don't think they farm beavers.
Say what?
Farm beavers. I don't think so.
No, the only way to farm beavers is to allow them to do it themselves.
Pretty much, yes.
Yep.
So back to the story. Where was I? Okay, so we got afterwards. Provost returned to Utah Valley, and he built 2 temporary trading posts. One on the Timpagos River near Utah Lake. I don't know where that is exactly. The other on the Jordan River. And these were not forts in the classic sense, but makeshift brigades of brush, logs, saddles, practical defenses against attack. Remember, back in the early 1820s there, the natives, they didn't like you coming on their land and killing all your beaver and shooting your deer and they got very little to eat themselves, and you're out there just shooting everything you possibly can. If it walks, it's getting killed. They didn't have fridges, so it's like, hey, I got to go out and shoot a deer for the guys every day. I got to go shoot another elk. I got to eat the beaver, and beaver tail is supposed to be really good to eat. Anyway, by the late 1820s, Provost was deeply trusted in the St. Louis Bernard Pratt, a leading fur merchant who wrote of him. Provost is the soul of the hunters of the mountains. He will do us harm if we don't secure him. So he must have been like the big leader at the time. Very influential, I would say. Around this time, Provost married Marie Rose Saul de la Jor in St. Louis. I guess she was French. Linking his life to both the wild frontier and the stability of family life. Of course, what does every guy want after he goes out and makes his fortune beaver trapping? He wants to come home to the little lady and, have a family of his own. So he fathered a son, Nicholas, with a Crow woman. Oh, my. While wintering among the Crow, his bloodline, some claim, reached as far as the Civil War. And even the scouts at the Little Bighorn. Yeah, I guess he was probably busy at home and busy on the range, put it that way. Even back in those times, guys were running around. So
guys were guys.
Yeah, well, it was a different zip code. The Burley Bacchus, we'll call that. Provost's later years were spent leading supply trains for the fur companies, and he was at the Great Green River Rendezvous of 1837, which is the winding down of the rendezvous, where artist Alfred Jacob Miller sketched his likeness, calling him Old Provost, the Burley Bacchus, a large heavy man with a ruddy face, more like a French sailor than a mountain hunter. And maybe this might be the sketch that he sketched. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe, probably. From this point forward, Provost was more guide and leader than trapper. He escorted Nicolet's mapping expedition in 1839 and, of all people, Audubon's natural history party in 1843, and even a French nobleman's hunting tour. His reputation as a man of the mountains was unshakable. Boy, this guy really, he met all the bigwigs. You know, can you imagine? You're out there in the wilderness and you met all the famous people. Well, in his final years, on July 3rd, 1850, Etienne Provost died in St. Louis. He was buried in the cathedral cemetery, leaving behind his wife, a daughter, and a legend that's sketched from Quebec to the Rockies. His name is immortalized in the Provo River, the Provo Canyon, and Provo, Utah. He is remembered as perhaps the first European to set eyes on the Great Salt Lake and as one of the few men to have been active in the fur trade from its inception to its demise. And Provost was not the loudest mountain man. He didn't chase fame and dime novels or exaggerate tales of glory. But he was there, in the camps, in the battles, in the rendezvous, always a steady presence, always surviving. And to his peers, that was enough. He was simply the man of the mountains. And that's what we have on this guy. What do you think?
So he was greatly respected in his time.
Well, yeah, he was probably
by his peers and by, well, you know, wow, you're that guy, you know, Provost. Oh, we know. Wow.
Well, yeah, exactly.
What made him famous, you know? And so, what made him famous was all of the things that he did. It was by opening up, you know, when they say, you know, carve out a trail, you and me know what that means, you know, but a lot of people don't know what that means. To go where no man has gone before, you know, and you're through the mountains. I haven't been through the mountains out west like I have in the Appalachians. But I have, you know, like I'm going to take my compass and, you know, the bearings off of this way. And then 3 hours later, you're lost as hell. And you got a map and a compass, you know, and things are really woolly. And, you know, you look around. And so the fact that those guys made it anywhere, you know, without a map and they made the trails.
They made and at the same time they were making the trails, they had to avoid the grizzlies, the mountain lions, the Indians, and you know whatever predator was out there. You know, just walking across the plains. Just for instance, you're walking across the plains. There's nothing out there, and then all of a sudden a herd of buffalo come along. They could stampede and kill you. You know, just because they're coming. And are you going to outrun a buffalo? Heck no. Wolves at night, you know, Indians could come and scalp you, kill you, take your horse, take your food, chase you down, invite you over and say, hey, you know, come on in, let's smoke the peace pipe, and then whack you, just like they almost did him.
Yep. And what a lot of folks, you know, I talked with a nurse the other day as she was trying to keep me from having a heart attack. God bless her. I'll send her prayers and good thoughts. But she was like, I want to go out west. I just have never been out there. And she was like, you know, I want to do this. So we had a little chat. And I was like, you know, if you go out west, take your time. Don't be in a rush. That was my biggest thing. And I told her, I said, you got to go through at least South Dakota and cut across. Oh, I want to go through South Dakota and Wyoming and all of that discussion reminded me of the trip me and my brother made across the same, you know, the same area. And what I was thinking of just now was that, you know, if you are maybe you and somebody else, you know, you're traveling and you've made just a little campfire at night because there's not a lot of wood and stuff, but you've made a little campfire and you've had what a little bit of jerky, for supper, and you're laying there looking up at the stars and the fire goes down and you don't think about it. But about 20 miles away on another hill, somebody can see that tiny little fire.
Yeah.
And you don't think it means nothing. But to the folks over there, they go, look, there's a tiny little fire. And the next thing you know, you wake up in the morning and you got Indians on your butt.
Yep. That's right. They come stalking up on you because in the summer, remember, they go out and that's their war party time. That's when they go and steal horses from other tribes. They want to count coup and get scalps and whatever they have to do. You know what I mean? And
yeah, so but the biggest thing too is that, and it's still like that out there, is that you think it's a harmless little campfire. Nobody sees me. We're all protected here. But I'm serious. 20 miles away, they can see that tiny little dot in, and they go, there's somebody camping. Mm-hmm. So, it was very interesting for us being from South Georgia, where you could only see, maybe a mile in certain places, to go out there and see for 20 miles, and you go, holy mackerel. And then when you try to drive it, you think you're going to be there in just a minute, and it takes you 30 minutes to get 20 miles. It ain't 20 miles, it's 30. But anyway, so, for him to be out there I say not necessarily by himself, but him and his crew, whatever they were doing, they were by themselves in the sense that they were the fur trappers in native territory. Mm-hmm. So every night they made a little campfire, they exposed themselves, is sort of where I was headed with that.
Yeah. So
that they were in constant danger.
So you want to know something a little bit about the mountain men versus the Indians that I found out? Or by reading all these books and stuff about them, at least, that's what they say, is so when the Indians had a campfire, right, they would, and they go to sleep or whatever, they would sit back from the fire. They would sit away from the fire. Whereas when the white man had a fire, they would all sit or lay down feet to the fire.
Right.
So when you look, you're in the background, right? Say you're sneaking up on somebody and they got a campfire, you're in the dark and you can see the fire and whoever's around it, right? Whereas if you're the other guy, if you're the Indian, you're sitting back away and then somebody comes sneaking up, they don't see anybody around the fire. They could be anywhere. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I tested that out a few years back, and I was trying to teach some greenhorns about them. They're going to sneak up on me in the woods down here and behind my house. They're going to sneak up on me, and or I was going to sneak up on them. We were, sort of playing tag. And so when it came time for me to sneak up on them, they were like, how did you find us so quick? And I said, because of your profiles to the fire. So when you're sitting up closer to the fire, you can see the profiles of everybody sitting around the camp. But to the point of what Robert's saying is that the native folks knew this, and they would sit back from the fire. So they could still kind of see a little bit of each other in the firelight, but they weren't glowing. And there was very little, it was hard to see them, their silhouettes in the fire. So smart guys, but yeah. And people still do that when they camp. They still, mostly now they sleep sideways around the camp. They'll kind of put their sandbags, their sleeping bags around the campfire.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing. Like I said, I learned that. I thought, but anyhow,
unless you've been camping, I think that's a really groovy thing, because people don't understand what that means. If you're camping out, you know, you would want to sit close to the fire, it's warming and everything, but sitting back from it a little bit, you just think about it. You know, them Indians weren't stupid. Of course, I don't know who's going to come up in the middle of the night to scalp you, but you know.
Yeah, well, absolutely, but nowadays not so much. But back in the day, or if you know, whatever. But like I said, it's big country out here, and like you were saying earlier, I want to capitalize on that. I want to. Oh, while we're at it, Chloe's got her own crystal shop. Here's her link here, everybody. So if you want to go there, it's in the chat. Go to Chloe's crystal shop. Check it out. Check it out. There you go, Chloe. Good job. Good job. Proud of you. Anyway, what I was saying is like out here. Now you've been out west.
Yep.
You're headed. Say you're headed into the mountains. You'll see the mountains, and you'll drive, and you'll drive, and you'll drive, and you still see the mountains, and you drive, and you drive, and you still see the mountains, and you drive some more.
And you still ain't there.
That's right.
When we were heading across South Dakota, going into the Badlands. The Badlands up ahead. Okay. The Badlands just ahead. Okay. The Badlands are right down this road. Okay. You keep driving, you're going to find the Badlands. Okay. We kept driving and eventually we found them. But from the Badlands to where Mount Rushmore is, which is on the other side of Rapid City, from the Badlands, you think, oh, it's just a short drive. I'll be there in no time. It took a half a day to get from the Badlands to where the, what are the mountains called anyway, but to where the presidents are on the mountain. And it was like, whoa, we got there, you know, almost too late, and we drove all day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. That's exactly how it goes. Trust me, I live out here, and it's like every town is 50 to 100 miles apart. It's like, oh, I want to go to town. Well, I got to travel 100 miles to get there. And, you know, when I was in Wisconsin, it was like, oh my gosh, I got to go to town. It's like 15 or 20 miles to a big town. And Elderberry says, I went across Oregon at 150, and it still took forever, I imagine. Yeah, you know, well, that's a little fast, but out here they got the speed limits like is what 80 mile an hour speed limits on the interstate. But if you didn't go that fast, you know how long at 55 it would take you to get anywhere? Oh my goodness gracious, you'd be driving all day to do that 100 miles. So even
what would take you one day at 80 miles an hour is going to take you a day and a half to 2 days on another day. So,
even our highways out here are 65. So normally those highways, like when I was in Wisconsin, would be 55, but out here they're 65. And you know, the interstate is 80. And if you go to Montana, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You know, they used to have it just unlimited speed. Of course, people abused that, and they just went as fast as they possibly could. But still, if you go there, there's nobody on the road usually, and you can get away with doing 90 easy.
You can go 120, and they probably won't stop you, because I was out there before with my Toyota, and I got it up to 110, and there was nobody around. So it's like, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You can go. Anyway, well, we got a lot of people in here. We're talking about stuff. Everybody, if you didn't see earlier, we have the big surprise, which is, well, we have our own Native American Myths and Legends shirt with Robert and David and Hawkeye Two Feathers, the greatest storyteller on YouTube. So go check that out. Link is in the description, and it's also at the top of the comments, the pinned comment. So anyway, check that out. As you can see, the greatest storyteller on YouTube. And we're going to have a great story for you in a little bit. But ain't that a nice logo? You love it?
I like it. It's such small letters.
Don't look be bigger when you're wearing them.
No, I mean on the bottom, the greatest story. It's almost like I'm not bitching. I'm just like, can you read it there?
Well,
Oh, and I thought when you said it was a surprise, I was looking at the food in the foreground. I was like, am I getting some barbecue dinner sometime soon? That would be nice. But
yeah.
no, that looks good. I'm in a jokey, lighthearted, very lighthearted mood.
Yeah.
And so no, it looks great.
Well, good, good. I'm glad you like it. Like I said, it's something new. I says, hey, we got to celebrate your great storytelling, and get you your own shirt to have a legacy out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you. And I swear, one of these days, I'm going to take a picture and send it, and let's see if you can have a picture of the two of us on a T-shirt, just for shits and giggles.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Mount Rushmore is located within the Black Hills. Yes,
Black Hills. Thank you, Black Hills. It's a really cool place, the Black Hills. It's really got some strange vibes. Wish I could have stayed longer.
And it's not because the hills are black. It's because of all the pine trees there. And the thick, dense forest with these humongous trees. I went camping in the Black Hills over by, what's the town? Deadwood.
Yeah.
I went over to Deadwood.
Yeah, we camped near Deadwood when we were there, by the way.
Yep. Great design, Robert. Yes. Thank Nina for that design, and me for the idea. And also go get yours. Go buy one. Go buy one for Hawkeye and send it to him for Christmas or your birthday, or his birthday that was already. And if you want, we'll email me or him. It's in the description below, and we will send you his address, and you can mail him a shirt. There you go. Keep the love a moving, right? And there you go. Okay, I gotta move this down, and then we're gonna get up ready for the story. We got a story tonight. And the greatest storyteller on YouTube is here, only on this channel. So you guys better be thankful, because he's the greatest card reader too. So
yeah, absolutely. So how did y'all like that story last week, if you can remember?
Well, I liked it.
Do you remember the characters?
The turtle, wasn't there? Turtle, wasn't it? The boy.
Yeah, and
the sun.
And
the sun.
Crow.
Yeah. Oh, the crow. The crow flipped over the turtle. Kept flipping the turtle over. That's right.
Yep. And learning the lessons of the stars at night, and the things that great creator has given to all of us if we pay attention. And so that's a reminder. If you don't remember the story, go back and listen to it, because it's very important. It ain't just about a crow and a turtle. Okay. Yeah. It's about higher thought thingies. The turtle's trying to show Crow to pay attention, not just to the stars, but to the universe, to his heart. And with that, I want to add this. Since my stent was put in the other day, 5 days ago, Friday, it was on Friday, I think 5 days ago. But my point is that my heart feels lighter. And since that time, I've had several reminders come to me that the spirit begins with the heart. And there's all this consciousness stuff and everything, and, which is real and true, but that, for true human compassion and for true human stuff, it's from the heart. And I would absolutely agree. A strong heart means a strong spirit. And a strong spirit can equal a strong heart. and none of you should go forward. I'm telling you, I'm still going through this. The heart is very, very important. Not just physically to keep me alive and to keep my blood pumping, but my heart is important because of the spirit that's contained within.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I had to interject that.
No, that's absolutely true. That's
But
absolutely
please,
true.
y'all, there are times when, my conscience says, we're living in a split reality. Shut up and listen to your heart.
Mm-hmm. Listen
But,
to the heart.
and
There's
folks,
a reason for that.
but to that, I mean this, you have to literally listen to your heart. You have to hear it beat. You have to understand it. You have to connect it with Mother Earth and the heartbeat. You have to understand it. It's connected to the universe. You need to understand. You need to allow all of this to come to you, because that
Mm-hmm.
is what your spirit is. Keep your spirit strong by keeping your heart strong. So, okay, that's enough.
No, I agree. I
But
totally
I'm
agree.
serious. I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
And in
Well,
this day and age, of all the things that we can tell people, well, what do? Stay true to your heart. Well, what does that mean? Well, let's listen to your heart and it'll tell you. If you want to find out something, you watch something. If it gives you a heart attack, then it ain't right, you know. But if you watch something and learn something, and you're cool to go with it, then maybe that's the way you should go. You understand? So, but
mm-hmm.
anyway, here's the story for
Okay.
tonight is the mouse and the sun. And let me get a drink. I'm still having trouble with my eyes after the eye surgery, and sometimes it just gets out of focus. So if I stumble for a moment, they'll come back. My eyes, that is. So after a week of being off, I'm here this evening to tell you the story about the mouse and the sun. And it comes from Glooskap's Country and Other Indian Tales by Cyrus McMillan in 1922. The story, The Mouse and the Sun. Long before the white man came to Canada, and when the animals ruled the earth, a little boy and his sister lived alone on the Canadian plains. Their father and mother died when the children were very young. The children had no relations, and they were left to look after themselves. They lived many miles from other people. Indeed, they had never seen any people but their parents. They lived so far away. The boy was very small. He was no bigger than a baby. The girl was large and strong, and she had to provide food for both of them and do all the work in the house. She had to take care of her brother, and she took him wherever she went so that no harm would come to him. She made him a bow and a number of arrows to play with. One day in winter, she went out to gather wood for the fire. She took her little brother with her. She told him to hide while she walked further on. She said, "You will soon see a flock of snowbirds passing near you if you watch. Shoot one of them and bring it home." The snow lay deep on the plains, and many snowbirds were flying around looking for food. The boy tried to shoot them, but his aim was no good, and he was unable to hit any of them. When his sister came back to him, he had no bird, and he was very much ashamed. But his sister said, "Never mind, do not be discouraged. You will have better luck tomorrow." The next day, the girl took her brother with her again when she went to gather wood. She left him behind at a place where he had hidden himself the day before. Again, the snowbirds came flying past, searching for food. The boy shot several arrows at them, and at last he killed one. When his sister came back to him, he showed her the bird. He was pleased with his success, and he said, I shall try to kill one each day. You must skin them, and when we have enough skins, I shall make a coat from them. And his sister promised to do as he wished. Each day the boy went with his sister and waited for the snowbirds to fly past. And each day he killed one and took it home. They skinned the birds and dried the skins. Soon the boy had enough bird skins to make a coat, for he was very small. A few bird skins make his coat. His sister sewed the skins together, and the boy put on his coat. He was very proud of it. One day the boy said to his sister, Sister, we are all alone in the world. We have never seen any other people except our father and mother. Are there any other people on the earth? His sister told him that she had heard from her mother that other people lived far away to the east, beyond the mists of the prairie, and that others from whom his mother had come lived away to the west, beyond the distant hills. The boy said, I should like to see my mother's people if they are anywhere on the earth. So one day, when his sister was away, he put on his bird-skin coat and took his bow and arrows and set out towards the distant hills to see if he could find his mother's people. It was springtime in the North Country. The sun had melted the snow, and little streams were flowing, and little blades of grass had begun to peep above the ground. But the earth was soft and wet, and the day was hot and warm winds blew over the plains. The boy walked for a long time. By the time the sun was high up in the sky, he was very tired, for he was very small. He came to a dry knoll and lay down to rest. Soon he fell asleep. As he slept, the sun beat down upon him. It was so hot that it singed his bird-skin coat. Then the coat shrank and shrank, and in the heat until it was only a small patch on his back. When he awoke and stretched himself, he burst his coat in many places. It had grown so tight. He was very cross when he saw how the sun had ruined his coat. He shook his fist at the sun and said, I will have my vengeance. You need not think you are too high to escape me. I will punish you yet. He decided that without his coat, he could not go any further to seek his mother's people, and at evening he returned home. When he reached home, he showed his sister his ruined coat. He was very sad, and for weeks he would scarcely eat a bite. And all the time he spoke bitterly of the sun. His sister tried to comfort him. She told him that next winter, when the snowbirds came flying south again, he could kill more of them and she would make him another coat. But for a long time he would not be comforted. At last he roused himself. He asked his sister to make a snare, for he was going to catch the sun. She made him a snare from buffalo hide cord, but he told her that it would not do. Then she cut off some of her long black hair, and from it she made a braided noose. The boy said that it would do very well. Then he set out to catch the sun. He traveled many days until he came to the great water in the east. It was summer in the north country, and the sun rose early. The boy placed his snare just where the sun would strike the land when he rose at dawn out of the sea, and he watched from a distance. Sure enough, in the morning, just as the sun rose out of the sea and came above the earth, he was caught in the snare and held fast. The sun could not rise. He was held fast to the earth. The boy was quite pleased with his success. Now, he said, I have punished the sun for ruining my bird-skin coat. And he returned to his home on the plains. That day there was no light upon the earth. It was twilight in all the land. The animals were in great fear and wonder. The birds fled to their nests, and only the owl came out to look for food. At last the animals and the birds called a council to see what they could do. They found that the sun was tied to the earth by a snare. They decided that someone must go up close to the sun and cut the cord that held him. It was a very dangerous task, for the heat was very great, and anyone who tried to cut the cord would perhaps be burned to death. So they drew lots to see who should go. The lot fell to Woodpecker, and Woodpecker went up and picked at the cord with his bill. He tried hard to cut it, but it was strong braid of woman's hair, and it could not be easily cut. Woodpecker picked and picked at it for a long time. At last his head was so badly burned that he could stand the heat no longer, and he had to fly away without cutting the cord. His head was red from the great heat, and ever since, poor Woodpecker has had a red head because of the sun singed him where he tried to set him free. Then the animals called for a volunteer to undertake the task of cutting the snare. Mouse was at that time the largest and strongest animal in the world, and he thought that, because of his great strength, it was his duty to attempt the hard and dangerous task. So he set out. When he reached the snare, he tried to cut the cord with his teeth, but the cord was strong and could not be cut easily. The heat was very great. Mouse would have run away, but he was so big and strong that he was ashamed to leave the task, for he thought that the smaller animals would laugh at him. So he stuck to his work and sawed the cord with his teeth, one hair at a time. Soon his back began to burn and scorch and smoke, but he stuck to his task. Then he began to melt away because of the great heat. And the whole top of his body was burned to ashes, but he still stuck to his task for a long time, cutting hair after hair. Finally, he cut the last hair. The snare parted, and the sun was at last free to continue his day's journey and give light to the world. And the animals and the birds rejoiced greatly over the success of Mouse. But poor Mouse had melted almost entirely away in the great heat. When he went up to the snare, he was the largest animal in the world. When he came down, he was the smallest, and his back was burned to ashes. And ever since, Mouse has been the smallest animal in the world, and his coat has always been the color of gray ashes because he was scorched when freeing the sun from a snare in the old days. So Mouse started out as the largest critter and ended up as the smallest. But in that, he did a great thing and he allowed the sun to rise again. That's a really good story. So I hope you all liked that story and kind of sort of what it means to things. And you say, well, Hawkeye, what does a story like that mean? Well, a story like that means that, you know, that young boy who had never met anyone, he didn't know what it was like to share or think about somebody else's feelings, or he was just so, everything for himself that all he could think of was revenge. And revenge is never a good thing. It really isn't. It's bad juju all the way through. So, but this story was to teach that, the smallest thing can be the greatest. That's for one. But also that, it doesn't do any good to be, vengeful. And, the story is about the sun. And, well, how can you capture it when it comes up in the morning? But at the same point, here was someone who thought they were so strong and godlike that they could make a snare and catch the sun. So, but anyway, so there are different levels to the story. It's just not a here you going. So here you going.
Yep.
All right. Pick your animals now or forever hold your pieces.
Pick your cards, people. Which one? Chloe's got it in already. She says she's got squirrel, beaver, hummingbird, grasshopper, which she changed to owl, and dragonfly. I think it's gonna be deer. I think we're gonna have eagle. I think we're gonna have something powerful like bear, and so forth. And at least that's my guess, is because the way the world is turmoiling in, I think we're going to have something like owl. I think Chloe's right. Owl for knowledge or something like that. So there you go. That's my thoughts. Okay.
Okay. Well, bear is a side note that I had pulled before you said it. But the card that it came with is elk, which I think is like strength. So you got bear and elk together. That's a good combination as far as strength. The third card up. So the third card up right now is wolf upside down, and the next one is whale. So
bear, elk, whale. Bear, elk, whale. Elderberry says vulture. I don't think there's vulture. No vulture. There is a mouse. We got a mouse. I know there's mouse. We got, like he says, elk, beaver, turtle, and frog. We have all of those.
Yeah, but tonight it's bear, elk, wolf, whale.
Wolf. Oops.
Grouse, coyote, and turkey. And we ain't done yet. Oh, how did I do this? I'm almost done. This is a
my.
long one, I guess, because I missed last week, eh?
I guess so. There's a lot of them this week. Holy cow.
I know, really, and it's like they ain't done with me. So that one goes there, and I got to come back a second. Boy, this is a strange set of cards tonight, and I can't help it. But so here we go. Can you keep up with this, Robert? How much time
Bear,
do we
elk, whale, wolf,
11
grouse, coyote, turkey. Did I got them all?
Wait a minute, hang on. I couldn't hear. Let me put these cards up and out of my way, or I'll spill everything everywhere. Yeah, I'm not in the hospital today. Let's see. Where's that other card? There it is.
Poor Chloe didn't get one right. All those you listed off, Chloe, and you get one. Jeez.
Yeah, so it's bear, elk,
bear, elk,
and they're tied together. But I'll get the book out in here in just a second. But it's almost like one card, so we'll see how that turns out. And then the next one is a single card wolf. The next is a single card whale.
Mm-hmm.
The next is a single card, again, grouse.
Okay, got it.
Hang on, let's see, grouse. And then it was coyote.
Got it.
Single. Turkey. Single. Swan and butterfly, kind of sort of together. So that's going to be an odd one to look at. But the last one is eagle upside down. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possibilities. So hang on.
Oh, eagle too. Holy cow. I was thinking eagle.
Yeah, I know you were. And it came up like the last at the end, and I was like, he just said eagle. So, okay.
Chloe still didn't get any. More cards than ever. Chloe got 0. Oh, geez. Lucky got 1. He got elk. So there you go. Good job, Lucky. Nobody else guessed any that I can see. So anyway, with that, sorry. Okay, and get on with this. And share screen. I don't know which one you're doing first.
Oh, I'm doing bear and elk first. Those are the ones that came up first. So bear is introspection and elk is stamina. So the message to me is bear says, you know, if you want to know what you're made out of, how far can you go, what can you tolerate, etc., etc., you have to do so with introspection in order to learn how strong your stamina is or where your stamina level is. So elk is about stamina, but bear introspection. So you need to look inside yourself to see, you know, as they told me in the hospital, Mr. Dave, you got this. You know, you've got enough strength. You're gonna make it through this procedure and all of this stuff and everything. And I just kept thinking, I'm still thinking, you know, I'm gonna make it through this, you know. And so, but in order to do that, sometimes two of the nurses had told me that there were people who gave up that were younger than me, and that they couldn't believe how positive I was in the hospital. And so they said that there were people younger than me who gave up on life. Even though they might have gotten fixed, they were just like, well, that's it. My heart's bad. I can't do anything. And they said, but you want to go kayaking again. So they brought me balloons and cake. You know, God bless them there at the hospital. But, and I didn't mean to drag me into this, but the stamina is the thing. You got this, you know. So, but you got to look inside yourself. I'll tell you what, because there were times I was just like, well, where am I going to give up to? You know, no, I got to keep working hard to be here till tomorrow. You know, it's important. And so this is not me, but this is what it means. So wolf is upside down, number 15. I think that has to do with family and stuff. 15. Teacher. So wolf is the teacher and runs off and learns things and then brings it back to the tribe. So if you've pulled the wolf's card, you may be able to share your personal medicine with others. See, and I just shared some of mine right there. But it's upside down, so it's in the contrary position. If you're being asked to expand your limited view of the present situation. So here, these three are tied together. Bear, introspection, look inside yourself with the stamina that you have. And with the teacher here, you're being asked to expand your limited views on the present situation or something that may be coming up. During this may entail a great deal of courage and a willingness to look at new ideas. It could also require that you delete some of your old ideas to make room for the expansiveness of these new ideas. You got to be willing to accept and receive. I say that all the time. The gift of wisdom comes to you when you have walked enough pathways and found enough dead ends to truly know the forest. In the discovery and the rediscovery of every inch of ground comes the knowledge that nothing ever remains the same. So, courage, stamina, be the teacher and listen. But the universe is saying, you know, a courage and willingness to think about it. Now, whale song. Whale holds the music and the words and all of the ancient things. We know that as I'm looking for the page. Whale is the record keeper. So what's the record keeper got to do with these three cards? Whale is very much like a swimming library. Whale saw the events that led to the settling of Turtle Island. It is said that Mu will rise again when the fire comes from the sky and lands in another ocean on Mother Earth. Well, ladies and gentlemen, are we in that time? There are a bunch of comments out there, I got to say. Whale medicine people are coded in their DNA to understand that sound frequencies are coded in their DNA. Our DNA is coded in sound. It's sort of like the color of the universe kind of thing. So here we are with whale. And if you pulled the whale card, you are being asked to tap into those records, meaning whale records, meaning, you know, it's not the Akashic record, but it is whale records. And to allow yourself to be sung to by those who have the original language. In other words, listen to some whale sounds and pay attention to see what that may bring. But that the whales are, you are the melody of the universe and the harmony in the song of the other creatures. In using your voice to open your memory, you are expressing your uniqueness and your personal sound. So, in other words, there's the universal, but we need to put our single noise into this. Grouse is upside down, 34. Grouse is one that, you know, to dance in the spiral and to be a part of the sacred spiral. So to be in reverse of that, we'll find out. In reverse position signals a dissipation of energy and a lack of control and discipline. Okay, now we were asked in the second card with elk to review our stamina. And so, and wolf is like, yeah, we need to check it out and see where we are. And whale is the old language that we should listen to. And grouse is telling us that, you know, that our energy can dissipate. So work towards harnessing your energy and directing it towards clearly defined growth or goals, such as the nature of the sacred grouse dance. So in other words, don't get all flitty-flighty like I am right now. You know, focus on one thing out of all of this. So the next card up, number 13, is Coyote. So number 13. Oops, there we go. Coyote is the trickster. So up to this point, you've got the grouse asking you to, you know, take in the dance and to listen to whale, and this, which listening to whale means listening to Mother Earth. And so here's Coyote face up as the trickster. Coyote is sacred. In the folly of his acts, we see our own foolishness. As Coyote moves from one disaster to the next, he refines the art of self-sabotage. So this means, with Coyote sitting straight up, do not self-sabotage whatever's coming up. In other words, you don't be the the one that messes it up. You don't want it messed up. So Coyote is warning you. This is a warning sign that contained within the trickster, though, is medicine, is the humor of the ages. Humors, laughing. So Coyote is laughing a lot of times at himself, but that's because of stupidity and blunders. Now, if this means that we coming out of all this good information from the well and we're taking the advice of the grouse upside down, and now we're with the Coyote who's the trickster, we should not be fooled. We don't fool ourselves. Don't let other people fool us, individually or as a collective. And the next card up is number 31, Turkey. I hope everybody's getting this and understanding it, because it's a really interesting message bunch of cards this is, I'll tell you what. So in Turkey is giveaway, which is interesting towards the end of this. Turkey is actually thought to be the giveaway eagle, or the south eagle of many native peoples. The philosophy of giveaway was practiced by many tribes. Simply stated, it is the deep and abiding recognition of the sacrifices of both self and others. People in the modern day society who have many times more than they need should study the noble turkey who sacrifices itself so that we may live. In turkey's death, we have our life. Honor turkey. So here we are in that, where we should not take things lightly and mess up for ourselves. And oddly, turkey season is coming up. But depending on how turkey is expected in your cards, you are being given a gift. So turkey's giving us a gift here. This gift could be spiritual, material, or even intellectual. The gift may be great or small, but it is never insignificant. Congratulations. You may have just won the lottery, or the gift may be a beautiful sunset, or the smell of a fragrant flower. On the other hand, you may feel the spirit of giving growing within you and wanting you to share with others. So there's turkey. So now these next two cards are tied together somehow, and one of them is butterfly. And we know, hopefully, because we pulled butterfly so many times, that butterfly is all about transmutation. In other words, it goes from a larvae, egg stage larvae, cocoon, and then it becomes a butterfly. So the power that butterfly brings to us is akin to the air. It is the mind and the ability to know the mind or to change it. To know the mind and to change it. Okay? That's important. It is the art of transmutation. So butterfly always asks, which state are you in? Are you in the egg stage? Are you in the stage where you're going to pop out as a butterfly? So now let's go to the back with Swan, who's upside down. Well, Swan. Okay. Swan is grace. So you say, well, from the butterfly, what difference does it make? Transcendence. What stage are we in? But here's the thing, that with Swan basically met with Dragonfly and kind of popped into the dream world. And Dragonfly said, hey, what you doing here? And Swan was like, I don't know, I kind of sort of got here. And was like, well, do you want to learn more? And Swan was like, well, yeah, how do I do that? And Dragonfly said that you must accept what the Creator gives to you. You must accept it. And so whatever it is, you got to accept it. And so Swan said, all right, let me give this a try. And so went into the other world and came out a few days later, a beautiful swan. And it was like, what happened to you? Said the Dragonfly. And Swan said, I heard the voice of the Creator. And I heard how it was going to be. And I accepted what the Creator had for me. And what I ended up with is grace. And so the butterfly goes through similar changes. And between the butterfly and the swan, both of them are showing intellectual changes, changes in the spirit, changes, you know what I mean? So those are the two cards together. And the last one upside down is number 1 in the book, Eagle. So this has been one heck of a night of reading, but man, can I see it. And eagle, let's tie it up with the eagle, which represents the spirit, except that this eagle is upside down. Now, if you have pulled eagle in reverse, you have forgotten your power and your connectedness to the Great Spirit. So listen up, y'all. There's a problem. But listen up, y'all. All of these good things, there's good transition with the swan and the butterfly. There's coyote to teach us lessons and a warning to not be stupid. There's the giving of the turkey and what it means for the giveaway. And so you may have failed to recognize the light that's always available for those who seek illumination. So the upside down eagle is like, wait a minute, have you lost the light? Can't you, you're out here in the wilderness. Can you see it off in the distance? I was talking about that earlier this evening about a little small, fire around a campfire on the prairie could be seen 20 miles away. But have we lost the ability to see the light that's always available? So I can't answer that for you, only you can. So if you feel like you're plunging around in the dark, you need to stop, you need to close your eyes, and you need to listen, and you need to feel and listen for where the light comes from, because it's always there. But people who are in fear will not be able to see the light because they're in fear. So on some level, Eagle is telling you to seek higher ground on which to build your nest. In other words, in reality, there are those of us who are scurrying around here on the ground. And what Eagle is saying, maybe that you should be up higher, because why? Because you got a different perspective from higher up there. And another why, nobody can get you up there. You're the king of the skies. So for us, we're started out as butterflies and a swan. We have received the grace from the Creator, and we need to pay attention to the eagle and make sure we have not forgotten where the light is and that the light is in us at all times. So that's my 10 cents for y'all. Man, what a set of cards, buddy. And butterfly and swan coming together in grace. Oh my God. And turkey, the giveaway is like the three of them are actually in a way kind of sort of tied together. The turkey's giving away the knowledge, of the, the butterfly and the swan. Wow. Interesting cards tonight, I tell you. I hope you all got something from that.
A lot to think about there. Yeah, I thought it would be something like that because,
But basically, in a quick review, elk and bear is about strength and stamina and paying attention to your own. That's not hard to understand. And then the next one is wolf. Be sure that you're sharing your medicine and listening, and bringing back the good stuff. Whale is saying listen to the whale music and to listen to the sound of wisdom and of the old knowledge. And grouse is like don't forget, because you haven't been listening. And coyote comes up next to say you've been tricked into other things. And the next cards up from there is turkey, which says it's time for a giveaway. And swan and butterfly show up with the grace and goodness of the Creator. And eagle shows up at the end saying, you got to make sure that you keep that light inside you. If you lose it, it's out there. Go find it. So that's the wrap up. Which probably makes more sense than as I was reading them, but that's the wrap up, And that's all good. It just took 20 cards to do it.
I had a lot of stuff going on this 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 month or whatever. And I know I've been like, oh, I'm gonna do some shows on the news, but the news changes so fast every day. By the time I get done listening to it and do a show on it, it'd be changed. It'd be different.
That's right. And it's going to be like that through October. And then it's going to be a weird November. I don't know how to explain it. This is October looks like hyper, but November seems almost scary in retrospect. Oh, don't believe me.
Well,
No, but I think there
know
were good cards tonight. So if you
they
think
are.
that, oh
Very
no, they were telling me bad things, no, buck up, Bunky. You know, the light's out there. If you think you've lost the light, it's there. Just shut up long enough to see it. Okay, I'm done.
Yep, absolutely. Well, anyway, I'm sure everybody's going to ask. You got a show tonight.
Yeah, I done had too much coffee now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he says, yeah, the world sounds a little crazy. That's right. That's right. The good cards tonight. Sometimes we need a lot of cards to make sense of what's going on, right?
Yeah, but at
And
least I was able to go brief over them. You know, where I used to take forever on one card, I can now, having used the cards for so long, I can see where they're tying themselves together. You know, and
mm,
how they relate to one another. I think that's why I got two cards with bear and elk. You know, it's like strength and stamina and introspection. It's like, oh wow, okay. And the next, you know, so that if anything, that should fill you with hope. It should fill every one of y'all out there with hope. Why? Because butterfly and swan were pulled together as one card. And that is accept the grace from the creator, you know? And so here's a time.
it's just too weird. News. Yeah, Lucky says, I don't watch the news. It's just too weird. News truths are too far apart lately, at least in my area. Yeah, they are. You don't know what's the truth and what they're kind of, yeah, it's just really getting crazy, so we'll just have to take it one day at a time. Don't let it affect you. Remember, news is just fear porn that we haven't, we let get into our lives.
That's right.
Yes.
Stay away from it. And, you know, that's one of the things is like the bear, introspection. So if you look inside yourself in the correct way, you know, you will have the stamina of elk to see what you shouldn't be doing, you know, to avoid the mistakes that Coyote is warning you about. So these cards make a lot of sense tonight, you know.
Let's
At
see.
least to me.
Oh yeah, and one last thing. Hey, we don't forget, get your shirt today or tomorrow or whenever. The new Milky Way Soul Tribe Native American Myths and Legends shirt with Robert and David. Hawkeye Two Feathers, the greatest storyteller on YouTube. And he just told you a story. So go get your shirt today. And of course, where can you get this shirt? Well, you can get that on Nina's merch store. Link is in the description, and we will show you that in a second. Because hey, why not? You just get on over there and get your shirt. You can get a mug. You don't have to wear a shirt. We got these nice mugs, a little a book, a diary book, and there's a long sleeve. There's also hoodies. Who doesn't like to have a hoodie? There's Scotty boy. Anyway, get yourself a mug and drink some coffee. I know all of you drink coffee. Besides, there's other things like there's a Beyond Truth shirt, the Milky Way Soul Tribe mug and shirt, the booklets, a whole bunch of stuff. There's also the Bosto, the R. Wayne Steiger collection with a mug. Be kind to your mind. I like the best one I like is the one where it says something about your this one. Where is it? The ignorance is a self-inflicted disease, easily cured by knowledge. That's my favorite. Anyway,
It's
yeah.
easily cured by a douse with your head in a bucket for 2 minutes.
No, there you go. But get on over there and get your new shirt with Hawkeye on there, and enjoy. Hey, come Tribal Tuesdays, as Lucky has named it for us, and link or it's a pinned comment above and or in the description. So check that out, and it's all good, right? I already ordered mine. So there you go. There's Lucky. Lucky's in the house. He says, hey, big gloves, gang. Lucky or Scotty boy, you still on travel trips? You've missed most of the show. My number one leads to number two. Yes. There you go. And there's Nina. And thank you, Nina, for making up those shirts and things. I hope we sell a lot of them for you. And like I said, they help support Nina and her show, and it also supports me and David by you wearing them, right?
Yep. Thank you, Nina.
Yes, there you go. And like I said, we enjoy being on. And hey, Native American Myths and Legends is the top show for the Milky Way Soul Tribe. So why not? Maybe millions of people will be wearing them someday, and you will be as famous as I don't know, some guy out there.
We'll drink no wine before it's time. It's time.
That's right. All right. Anyway, we're gonna wrap her up. We're a little under 2 hours, so good deal. There's Chloe. She says, have a great night, everyone. See you soon, David. Yeah, he'll be on. Everybody go get yourself a cup of coffee. Remember to buy your coffee mug on the merch store so you can drink coffee with David and relax as he talks about whatever you're going to be talking about tonight, which I'm sure
be hyper. Come on, y'all. Let's drink some more coffee.
That's right. There's Scotty Boy. He says, good to see you. Been out of the loop. Been wondering how you're doing. Yes. Why don't you tell everybody how you're doing? Just before we wrap it up here. One more time.
Oh yeah, because folks haven't came in late. I'm still wrapped up. I'm going to take this off tomorrow. And I still got holes all over me, bruises. I got a bruise on this arm. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, there it is. See that big old thing right there? Some black lady came into my room in the middle of the night trying to find a vein, and she left her mark literally on my arm. So it doesn't hurt, but God Almighty, it looks bad. It's a little sore if I bump it, but I think she came in like like Dracula or something, because she never did get the blood, and she got poking around in there to the point where I was like, ow, this hurts. And all the other nurses had come in and poked me with needles, and I was like, wow, that was good. This lady hurt me, and it shows. So, but anyway, it is sore actually. But anyway, so on Friday I had a heart cath, which determined and showed the bad spot in my heart. And then they called down to Thomasville, Georgia, which is where they insert the things, the stents. I went down there at 12:20, and by 1 o'clock I was in the procedure room, and by 1:30 I was done. And so I was out of the hospital on 4/20 on Saturday evening, believe it or not. And so this is my Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is my third official day out of the hospital. So I'm still hungover from the hospital, but I absolutely feel better. I'm ready to kick it in the butt after my 73rd birthday. And so I'm ready to go. So hopefully I'm going to be here with Robert for many more sessions of storytelling and Native American stuff. So cheers, everybody.
10 more. We're hitting 200. Big anniversary.
Oh, yeah. That too. We should do a grouse dance or something, you know, for 20. What show is this?
190.
Oh, so we got 10 more to go, huh? Well, it'll be
Yep.
about the end of the year. Let's see.
Yep, about the end of the year.
October,
Be close.
November. Yeah, but yeah, boy, this is going to put us right to the end, ain't it?
That it is.
We might have to do two.
Yeah, we'll get her done.
We'll get her done.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you, everyone, for your prayers and your well wishes and the fact that you care. I thank you all very much. I really do. And I say I'm back, but there really is a big relief off of my chest and about the thing about the heart. So I'm really serious about that. And it seems like there are 4 different voices that came to me and reading and listening and other things about the heart since this incident in the last 5 days, but that, the spirit resides in the heart. And I kept hearing that, and I was like, but then something else came back. The spirit and the heart is connected together. And I was like, what? And then all of a sudden, the heart and the spirit, if you can't have, and what? So each one brought a different piece to it. But at the end of it all, it was like, if you are true in spirit, then you have a good heart. And if you got a good heart, then you can be true in spirit. So all of the other things in the universe, in a way, don't matter. Are you true to heart? If not, well, then you can correct it. So, and if you're not true to heart, then you can look at it and go, well, am I hurting somebody or am I only hurting myself? Which is just as bad to hurt yourself. But so use the bear, look inside with introspection, and understand that you have the stamina of, guess what? The elk.
No. Good deal. Good deal. And with that, remember, everybody, go out there, be the elk, deer, coyote, all of that put together, and learn from this a little bit. And most of all,
yes, and the eagle.
And the eagle. Finish it off with the eagle. And with all of that, go out and do something nice for your neighbor, somebody else. I don't care who it is. It will make you feel better. It will. Doing things for others makes you feel better. It's one of those things. My glass is full, and I'm emptying in half of it in your glass, and the universe will fill up your glass again, empty it again. So keep doing that and pass it along. So with all, there's Ray of Thought. Thank you. So with all of that, remember to be the frequency you want to receive, everyone. Love you all. Peace, everybody.
Cheers.